Boys,
Here.
Hannah.
Here.
All committee members are present except for Councilwoman Connor.
Very good, thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the minutes of the previously held meeting. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, we have 4 items that are up for public hearing today. And the procedure for those public hearings, it's been a while, so we're a little rusty. But the procedure for the public hearings will be that we will accept a report from our planning department referencing the conditional use requests. After that, our clerk of council, Sarah Biviano, will swear in anyone who wishes to testify before the committee. And that will occur later as well. But after she swears everyone in, I will open up the committee for comments. People will be given an opportunity to speak in favor or against a proposal, ask questions, whatever the case may be. We'll close the committee then. After that, we'll open up questions from the committee members. After that, the council members, in case they have questions or comments referencing a conditional use. What will happen is we will repeat this procedure at 5 o'clock this evening. Once again, the only difference between then and now is that the committee will make a recommendation at 5 o'clock, either in favor, against, or to table an item, and that means take time, a little additional time to study conditional use requests. So with that, we'll begin this process, and I'd like to request the clerk, if I've done everything correctly, she nods yes, okay, good. She can read in the first item that's up for public hearing.
The first item up for public hearing is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a laundromat at 147 North Arlington Street.
Okay, Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. KSN LLC is requesting approval to establish a retail coin-operated laundry at this location. The existing 1,142 square foot irregularly shaped single-story masonry building, which was built in around 1954, is sited in the southwest quadrant of the property, features 2 garage bay doors that face North Arlington. Petitioner has stated that the interior of the vacant building would be renovated to establish the proposed wash lab coin laundry facility. The main portion of the building will initially house 21 washers and 20 dryers with a folding counter, while the smaller northern portion of the building will house a restroom, office, and a retail area that will sell laundry products. The laundromat will be open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 1 full-time employee and 1 part-time employee are expected to be hired. The exterior of the building contains gray and white vertical siding and appears to be in good condition. Petitioner has recently repainted the interior, and new lighting is proposed to be installed. Planning staff believes that the proposed 8 parking spaces is sufficient to reflect modern laundromat usage. The goal of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan is to guide the location of retail development so that it will be convenient to residents served and will have minimal impact on adjacent properties. This heavily traveled intersection contains a mix of uses with the most recent use of the property being Carlisle's used cars. So the proposed use should be less intrusive to abutting residences. Proposed laundromat will provide a much needed service to this neighborhood since there are no other laundromats in the vicinity. If the building is properly renovated and the lot properly developed, the proposed reuse of the property and older vacant building would be an asset to the Middlebury neighborhood. And Planning Commission, or rather Planning staff and Planning Commission recommend approval.
Thank you for that report, Mr. Antonucci. I'd like to ask our clerk to please swear in anyone here or online that wishes to testify before the committee referencing 147 North Arlington Street. Ms. Biviano?
Yes, if you're here to speak on this public hearing, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask if there's anyone here or online that wishes to testify before the committee at this time. I don't see anyone in chambers. I see there's someone here on Tammy Noble. Is that you? Welcome. I believe you may be on mute, so if you could please unmute yourself.
Sorry about that.
No problem. If you please provide for us your name and address.
Tammy Noble, 851 East Bookdale Avenue, apartment 2. I live right across the street from this building. There is a small store across the street from me that would benefit from the usage of this building. I travel now 20 minutes away just to do my laundry, and I would like to see something, instead of it being tore down, something be done with it.
Very good.
And
Oh, go ahead.
and it's right on the bus line. This is right on the bus line, and it would be very beneficial for all of us.
Why, thank you so much for your testimony this afternoon. Anything else, ma'am?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else here wishing to testify before the committee referencing 147 North Arlington Street? Anyone? I'm not seeing or hearing anyone. So we'll close up the public hearing portion and open it up to any committee members that wish to ask questions or make comments at this time.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I can see that the petitioner is online and he was sworn in.
Okay.
Mr. Nagra, did you have comments you wanted to give?
Oh, thank you.
No, I'm here more for just answering any questions. Like Tammy said, it would be beneficial for the community to have a laundromat there. I believe it's not as, I guess I would say, populated with laundromats in that area versus the actual automotive industry in that Middleburg area. So we plan to go ahead and switch it into a laundromat, and hopefully it benefits the community.
Well, thank you, sir. I apologize for not recognizing you earlier. Any other comments? No other comments? Okay. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make any comments? Not hearing or seeing anyone, we'll close the public hearing portion and open it up to any committee members at this time. Any questions, or council members? Any questions or comments? I'm not seeing anyone. I'd like to invite you both back this afternoon at 5 o'clock. You can either Zoom in or be present here in chambers for that second public hearing at 5 o'clock, in which we will make a recommendation to all of council referencing the petition. Okay? Thank you so much for attending. We appreciate your input. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Now we'll move on to the second item that's up for a public hearing. Ms. Viviano.
Item number 2 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a Type A daycare home at 782 Bellevue Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Keisha Burney is requesting permission to establish a Type A child daycare home at this location. Any facility in which child care is provided for 10 or more children in a residential area requires conditional use approval. The proposed daycare home, also known as the Watch Me Grow Children's Learning Center, would mainly occupy the living and dining room of the basement area of the 1,628 square foot house. Care would be provided for a maximum of 12 children, ranging in age from 6 weeks to 12 years. The days of operation will be from Monday through Friday, from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. There will be overnight stays. No changes are proposed for the interior or the exterior of the house. If approved, the petitioner intends to hire one full-time assistant besides herself. There's on-street parking along Bellevue Avenue. The rear yard is enclosed with solid wooden fencing and will be the location for an outdoor play area. Since most of the activities will be indoors and the outdoor play area is enclosed with solid fencing, providing care for up to 12 children should not have a detrimental effect on the abutting properties. Since the children are dropped off and picked up at various times of the day, traffic congestion should not be an issue. Providing quality daycare service is beneficial to the entire city, and the planning staff supports the request, as does Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments, Mr. Antonucci. At this time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone here that wishes to testify before the committee. Please be sworn in by our clerk, Sarah Biviano. Anyone here referencing this proposal? on Bellevue? Anyone online? In chambers? Not seeing anyone. So with that, we'll still, so our attorneys will be happy. We will open up the public hearing, ask if there's any questions or comments. Any questions or comments? Hearing, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion. Ask if there's any committee members with any comments, council members with any comments whatsoever referencing Bellevue Avenue daycare. Okay, very good. With that, we'll now move on to item number 3. Ms. Viviano?
Item number 3 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a charter high school at 375 West North Street.
This is an interesting one. Yes, Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Oakmont Education is requesting to establish the Towpath Trail Charter High School at this location as they have outgrown their existing space. Conditional use approval is necessary for the establishment of the school in this commercial use district. The site contains an existing single-story and approximately 30,000 square foot building built around 1925. Vehicle access is primarily from Aqueduct Street and Boylan Place, including a parking lot situated between the space for about 20 vehicles. There's also a smaller, more limited parking area at the intersection of West North and Aqueduct Streets. 5 garage bays can be accessed from West North Street, while there are 3 more accessible from Boylan Place. Petitioner states the school serves approximately 250 students and employs 20 staff. Expansion to the new site will allow Towpath Trail to continue providing students with standard academic courses. It will also enable students with career and technical education programs such as construction, business, manufacturing, and healthcare. Classes are Monday through Friday, beginning at 7:30 a.m. and finishing at 4 p.m. It's planned that between 3 and 5 new staff members will be added upon expansion of their career and technical programs. These new programs will also allow the school to graduate more students with industry-recognized credentials, helping to provide the community with a skilled and job-ready workforce. The commercial nature of the large building can complement the vocational and construction classes with existing space that allows for such activities. The proposed school use would be a suitable transition from the commercial and light industrial nature of the uses to the east along West North Street to the retail uses along West Market Street. The building is situated at a major intersection with a mixture of similar land uses and direct access to public transportation routes. Petitioner states that most students attending the school are from the neighborhood or use public transportation. The planning staff does recommend some minor changes to the site, however, for redevelopment of the building to a school. A front-facing entrance should be created either along Aqueduct or West North Street, so there's an identifiable location for students to enter the building. Also, the parking area should remain behind the building and accessed from Aqueduct Street, and there should not be parking in the front area along West North Street for safety reasons. Windows should be added to the building elevation along West North Street to enhance its appearance from the street and to help create an environment that is suitable for learning. The planning staff and Planning Commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thanks for that report, Mr. Antonucci. I'd like to ask our clerk of council, Sarah Biviano, please swear in any individuals that wish to testify before the committee.
If you're here to speak for this public hearing, could you please stand and raise your right hand? I have some individuals online. I'm not sure if they're for this public hearing, but if you are, if you could unmute yourself and also raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Viviano. At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing and ask if there's anyone here wishing to testify in favor of the conditional use at 375 West North Street. If you can please provide for us your name and address. Thank you.
481 North Cleveland Massillon Road, Akron, Ohio.
Yes, sir.
So thank you. I love the description. It tells exactly what we want to do. We have a Towpath Trail High School right now at 275 West Market Street, so we're just a couple of blocks away, about a quarter mile. And we've run out of room, and we'd like to offer additional career tech programming for our students. And so this building came up. It's a great location for us. We believe it's going to suit all of our needs, and just want to make sure that we can get the appropriate zoning approvals so that we can move forward with purchasing the process. And then we started all over with hiring the architect and bringing in all appropriate professionals to design the building and come back once again to get approvals through the building departments and zoning departments and everything that's requested of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else here wishing to testify in favor of the conditional use request?
I was just going to mention, we have my colleagues Paulette Hare and Christina Frazier, who work with Oakmont and with Towpath Trail High School. They're available for questions if we need them at some time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask if there's anyone else here wishing to testify in favor or against this proposal or have questions. Anyone online, Ms. Biviano? No? Okay. Very good. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none. We'll now open it up to the committee. Is there any questions or comments from any of the committee members? I have one, and I'm guessing, Mr. Antonucci, that the traffic engineer did in fact review this layout in terms of the proposed traffic pattern that's going to be utilized for the students?
Yes, so traffic engineering did look at it. They did have some concern with the traffic at that intersection, so we're looking at trying to limit the parking there at the very front of the building at that intersection, and traffic along Aqueduct. But so yeah, traffic engineering did review it. They will need to obviously look at plans as they get more more along through the process.
Yeah, I like the one-way entrance there. Very good. I'm just curious about that piece. Anyone from council? Any questions? Anyone? Okay, very good. And of course, we'll invite you back this evening if you'd like to be here at 5 o'clock. And the only difference will be that we will make a recommendation to all of council. Thank you for attending this afternoon. Thank you. Ms. Biviano, item number 4.
Item number 4 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a gas station and convenience store at 1526 Vernon Odom Boulevard and declaring an emergency.
Yes, Mr. Antonucci.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Circle K intends to raise the current structure on the property, which is check cashing business, and construct a new gas station and convenience store on the site. The new 5,200 square foot convenience store would be located 150 feet from Vernon Odom Boulevard. The corporately owned store would be constructed of masonry materials in brown tones with red accents. Access to the site would be from the existing drives at the east and west corners of the lot. An ADA accessible walking path along the west side of the property would safely direct people away from vehicular traffic. 30 parking stalls are shown in front of the building, a canopy 24 feet in width by 192 feet in length, covering 7 pump islands with 14 dispensers, is situated between the building and the street. A wide drive would wrap around the rear of the store to a diesel canopy, providing 3 pump lanes for fueling semi-tractors. An existing line of mature trees and shrubbery along the street would be supplemented as necessary. The proposed retail gas station and convenience store conforms to the city's desired use at the location as indicated by the Land Use and Development Guide Plan. The site is well situated to serve not only local residences and businesses, but highway travelers as well. Vernon Odom Boulevard, with 4 travel lanes and 2 turn lanes in front of the property, can accommodate any traffic generated. The attractive modern structure and landscape property would be appropriate at this location, would put an underutilized commercial property into production. The planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you for your report, Mr. Antonucci. Ms. Biviano, can you please swear in any individuals that may be here online?
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Biviano. At this point, I'd like to open up the public hearing, and if you could please provide for us your name and address.
My name is Brett Lamb. Address is 35 Hudson Common Drive, Hudson, Ohio. I'm the real estate development manager for Circle K, and we're just, I think, as a collective at Circle K, excited to bring a new state-of-the-art asset to Akron, a community we've always done a lot in, but haven't done a lot of new stuff lately. So we're excited to hopefully get this thing under construction and start serving the community in an area where we think that it'll be really well received. So that's it.
Very good, thank you. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak in favor of the proposal? Anyone else? Okay, very good. Anyone here wishing to speak against this proposal? Yes, please. Please step forward to the mic, and if you could please provide for us your name and address, and welcome to City Council Planning Committee.
Thank you. My name is Aisha Nuruddin. I live at 991 Valdez Avenue in Akron, 44320, and that's Ward 4. I oppose this proposal because we have enough gas stations and not enough gathering places for people in the community. Our city is looking for safety, and we're looking for improving health and building economic opportunities. I'm proposing that the city consider using that space for a roller skating rink. I would call it a family and community recreation and wellness center. There's plenty of space there, as well as parking spaces. Roller skating rinks can improve our economic development. I think I looked on the mighty Google and said that 35% profit can be made after after including labor and other expenses. So it would improve it could lead toward economic development for the city of Akron. We have swimming pools, we can have skating rinks. Particularly in that area, it's easy access. We have plenty of gas stations. I appreciate them. I use Circle K all the time, everywhere I go in all my 5 counties that I used to go to. So we have them on Copley Road, at least 3. And in addition to that, we have BP, and we have Marathon and Sunoco, I think, right in that same area. So you could drag your car to any place and have gas. But you can't have good health. Skating is one of the, I looked in during the pandemic, people roller skated, but it has very many health benefits, not only to young people, but to older people. It helps with balance building and coordination, muscle control, better posture, confidence. We need that in our community for our children and adults. Core conditioning for everything in the body. It's a total body workout. It's great cardio workout, and highway travelers can benefit this too. I grew up in Akron. We roller skated in East Akron every time it opened, so we made it over there. But in addition to that, my brother, when he turned 83, he said, "I would really love to roller skate again." I'm like, okay. So we had to rent a roller skating rink in North Canton so that my brother and the whole family came, and they have these walker-looking things. He was like real cool and didn't want to use it until he went around 6 times and fell 6 times, so he got that and enjoyed himself at 83. So I'm pretty sure that there are some healthy adults that would love to roller skate as well. And in addition to that, it would be a place, we had a dance afterwards. It would be a gathering place. There aren't any gathering places for anybody except gas stations and bars, and anyway. So that is pretty much my comment. I would love for the city to consider investing in creating jobs for city people for a skating rink, but broader than a skating rink in that space, a family community recreation and wellness center that houses a roller skating rink.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your testimony. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak in favor or against the proposal referencing the 1526 Vernodum? Anyone else? Anyone? Okay, not seeing anyone. Again, we'll invite you back this evening, 5 o'clock, and we will make a recommendation to all of council at that time. Thank you for coming down this afternoon. Appreciate that. Move on to the balance of the agenda. 1 second, please. If you don't mind. Looks like it. Yeah, you'll be all right. Thank you. Oh, was there a question? No. No questions. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Very good. We'll now move on the balance of the agenda. We'll take time on 5 through and including 9. We have a new substitute, if you will, on 10. Ms. Viviano, if you could please read that into the record.
This is on the new legislation list as number 2A. It's a substitute offered as an amendment. Resolution adopting the 2024 Capital Investment and Community Development Program, legally referred to as the Capital Investment Budget, and declaring an emergency.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Tomic, I believe you're here referencing this item.
Yes, correct. Good morning, or rather good afternoon, Mr. Chair, committee members. Past 2 Mondays on January 22nd and January 29th, we spent a considerable amount of time going through each and every line item in the capital budget. We were looking at making some changes. Those were identified during those presentations. So this amendment identifies those line by line. And we are also looking at, I believe, an increase of about $4 million.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions or comments referencing this at this time? I'm going to request that we take 1 more week's time on this.
Yes.
I understand we have to pass it by February 15th, correct?
Which is a Thursday.
Yes.
So you all can meet on Thursday or February 12th, which is a Monday.
Yeah, we'll probably choose the latter. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for recommending that. Any questions or comments from anyone online, in chambers? Okay, very good. This will give us a little bit of time. I'd like to request that any council members or committee members please forward any concerns referencing this or questions to Ms. Tomic and myself, and then we will try to get those answered in a timely fashion so that we can beat that February 15th, Thursday, the 15th date. Okay? I'll ask again, any questions or comments? Okay, not seeing any. Very good. Thank you for that presentation. We'll now move on to the balance of the agenda, of which I'm going to recommend time, and then we'll move into the new list of legislation. And Ms. Viviano, could you please read in the first and only piece I believe we have?
Item number 2 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of the Department of Planning and Urban Development to enter into contract or contracts with nonprofit organizations for the provision of tenant-based rental assistance to carry out the intent and purpose of the Home American Rescue Plan and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Tomic, you're here for this too?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon again. So when Congress passed the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, there were several buckets of funding that were allocated with that. Most of us are familiar with the state and local fiscal recovery funds that was released by the Department of Treasury. The Department of Housing and Urban Development also released funding through the Home Investment Partnership Fund, and HUD had us amend the 2021 Annual Action Plan. We presented that to Council in January of 2023. All of the home, this is going to get a lot of acronyms here, a lot of the home ARPA funds are specifically intended to provide housing, shelter, and supportive services to persons experiencing or at risk of homelessness, fleeing or attempting to flee domestic violence, dating violence, and other vulnerable populations. The city of Akron is slated to receive $5.3 million. At this time, we issued a request for proposals from Continuum of Care members for the tenant-based rental assistance portion of the application. We received 3 applications totaling $400,000. After review of the applications, the Department of Planning and Urban Development is recommending funding 2 of those organizations to provide rental assistance through the 2024 fiscal year.
Okay, very good. And this is, these ARPA funds, this is not the same bucket as our original, or is it the same bucket?
They're 2 separate, the 145 is from
Yeah.
Treasury and this is from HUD. So they're 2
Okay.
separate buckets, different rules, different regulations, different processes.
Okay, very good, thank you for that. And so you had mentioned before that we have, what, 4 million altogether, and this represents 250,000 of that?
We, $5.3 million, and yes, this is $250,000.
Okay. Questions or comments? Anyone? So so you mentioned 3 proposals that came in?
Correct.
Okay, oh, I see, Ms. Amobian has her hand up. Ms. Amobian?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm curious, you said there were 3 proposals and you're recommending funding 2?
That's correct.
Can you tell us more about that, please? The third one and, well, tell us about all 3 of them if you could, please.
So 2 of them.
Councilwoman Amobian, we're getting a little feedback, so I'm going to mute you.
Okay.
So we issued a request for proposals to all of the Continuum of Care members since they provide services to the homeless population. We received 3 proposals as indicated. Based on review and criteria identified in the proposals, we are recommending funding for 2 of those entities. We can discuss the third one at a later time if you like.
Thank you. We can do that. You said you had a total of $5.3 million.
That's correct.
These dollars, do they have to be obligated by the end of 2020, what?
So
4, 5?
unlike the Treasury money, which has to be obligated by 2024 and spent by 2026, the HUD ARPA dollars do not have to be spent until 2030.
Oh, so we got time. Okay. Thank you very much.
Any questions or comments? Consent agenda okay on this one?
That's fine, thank you.
Okay, very good. Is there a recommendation for consent agenda?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, the ayes have it. So we'll recommend consent agenda this evening. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, planning is adjourned.
Our next committee today will be the Public Service Committee, and it will begin at 2 o'clock. Those committee members are Kamer, McKittrick, DeShazier, Hardy, and Lombardo. Again, that's the Public Service Committee, and it will begin at 2 o'clock. Thank you.